Good morning, world. It's Wednesday, and this morning I was just out in my fairy garden, and I love my fairy garden. I love the fairies. I've worked with fairies for a really long time, and I've seen a lot of posts on Twitter, and before I got kicked off of Facebook temporarily. Stupid Facebook. Anyways, I saw a lot of posts on Facebook also, and just all across social media, and there seems to be like this split between people who appreciate the fairies and people who fear the fairies, and then people who are like in the middle, I guess. They appreciate the fairies from a distance. So I just wanted to take a minute. I know that there's a lot of information out there about this and that, and about fairies being good or bad or mischievous or malice or all of those kind of things. So I wanted to tell a story. This is a story that I heard a long time ago. I honestly don't even know where it came from. And I'm sure that, there's a lot of people out there who have heard very similar stories. So, a long, long time ago on the earth, it was not just humans that were evolving into upright species and connecting with the energy of the earth and moving forward. There were a lot of species on this earth. There were the animals and the plants, and then there were also the fairies and the gnomes and the elves and, the magical creatures and the undines and the sprits and all of those things. I mean, the list goes on and on. And the earth was growing, and everything was going forward, and everyone was sharing the land. And then humans began to grow in their intelligence. And as humans grew in their intelligence, instead of continuing to connect with the earth, they started to move away from that natural energy, and they started to want to control the earth. And this is something that we still see today. And so as humans evolved and began to control their environment instead of live with their environment, the entities, the beings, the spirits, the creatures, the fairies and all of those things, they continued to connect with the earth, and they continued to live with the earth as one and bond with the earth, just as the animals did. And because of that, the goddess and the earth and the gods gifted them with the divine powers that the earth has, this power to create and transform. And like I was saying the other day, science really confirms my magic, and that no energy can be destroyed. It is only transformed. And that's the same thing that we're doing with magic. And the fairies and the elves and the gnomes, and they continue to work with this. Mermaids, all of them. They continued to work with this energy and to strengthen their bond and their connection. And humans, on the other hand, went in the other direction. They began to control and conform, or, not conform to, but have the earth conform to them. And they did not receive this gift of intuition, and I mean, they did, but it wasn't as heightened as it was with the fairies. And as generations and generations went on, the fairies and the earth elements, spirits, mythical creatures, what we call now, they all continued to grow in their power from the earth, and the humans did not. And as the humans were controlling the world, they began to trick and capture and make the magical elements of this world do their bidding. So that, they would trap the leprechaun for his gold. They would put the fairies in a jar for their magic. They would trick the fairies. And as a self-preservation method, the fairies and the elves and the gnomes and all of these mythical creatures disappeared into the nature and made it so that humans can't see them, and disappeared away into the earth pretty much, because they didn't want to be continuously used and abused and taken advantage of. They didn't want their power and their love for the earth to be transformed into something undesirable. And so they moved away from people and became hidden. And there was a lot of hate between the two. I mean, could you imagine if yes, we can't imagine what it would be like to have somebody tell you what to do all day, and where you can and cannot go, and that you have to do it this way. And for there to be a divide, it's kind of like the divides that we create now between races and religions and the things that make us different. Well, this happened a long time ago with the fairies too, and the fairies we're like, no way, we're not having this. We don't want to be a part of your wars. We don't want to be a part of this ugliness. We want to just be one with nature, and that's what they did. And to this day, they continue to live in nature and be there. And for those who are connected to the earth and who bond with the earth, the Mother Goddess and the fairies will reveal themselves and grant you the ability to see them and work with them and all of those things. For those who walk the pagan faith, obviously this is a little bit easier than those who don't, because we are more in tune with connecting with the earth. That's a big principle behind paganism, is connecting with the earth. And so in doing that, you're connecting with the fairies, and you're connecting with that energy, and the fairies will come to you. Honestly, they're some of my best friends. I made a joke with them the other day as I was talking to them that it sucks that I can't get a hug from them. And then my whole yard glittered with like rainbow dew, and it was beautiful, and it was like a magical hug, but it, anyways, so if the fairies are an entity, a creature, a spirit guide that you want to work with, start by working with the earth. If you work with the earth and you show your respect to the earth and the animals and the things that they love, they're more likely to come to you and show themselves to you. I started working with the fairies. I was thinking the other day, like, how did I really get started? Like, where did this come from? I always loved Tinkerbell and fairy tales and all that stuff, but really it started with the Ganjas, and I, as a youth, connected with the Ganjas, and I would smoke with them, and I would hang out with them, and they would be my pals, and that's kind of where it started, and then it grew from there, and now I have fairies in my garden and fairies in my house. I invite them inside every winter. Right now they're starting to go outside. Well, now it's getting really hot. They want to come back inside. But, these are like my neighbors. These are like really good neighbors that I have that I talk to and hang out with, and I occasionally bring them a treat. I plant flowers that smell good, that they really like the lilacs and the dill, a lot of the herbs. Oh, look, here's a honeybee. Hello, honeybee. I do things to encourage animal life in my garden. I encourage the bees and the butterflies and bumblebees and all that kind of stuff. Everything except for the grasshoppers. And I just work with them. I talk to them. I read a post that was like, don't leave out offerings to say thank you for the fairies unless you have a reason to. And if I leave out an offering for a fairy, I leave it out because I appreciate their presence in my life, not because I expect them to do something for me. The one way that you will get on a fairy's bad side is if you try to trick them or convince them or calm them or make them or in any way have them do your bidding. If they want to help you, they will. If they don't, it's better not even to ask. They are really jaded after thousands of years of humans taking advantage of them, and they don't want to do magic for you. They don't want to be your little magical slave, and that's what humans have done to them. So if you want to work with them, you need to show them that that's not what you're all about, and that you are here to just love the earth and work with the earth and to be present with that energy, not to use that energy. So if you have any questions about the fairies, let me know. Like I said, they're some of my best pals, my spirit guides, whatever. They're a very honest bunch. So also, don't look for like sugar-coated messages from them. They're going to be like in your face, blunt, and like tell you. I've read my fairy cards and it has literally told me to go take a shower. Like, they are very blunt. So, I hope everybody has a great Wednesday. I hope you enjoy learning about some fairies and meeting some fairies. If you have any stories about fairies, let me know. I always love hearing them and talking to other people about their experience with the fairies. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope you all have a great day. And I will talk to you soon.